Alrighty, how we darn. If you're here with me, if you're hanging out, I want you just to comment and say, how you darn. Let's start out the day. Oh, I was going to say let's start off the day, right? Because it's 10 a.m. for me, but it's 8 p.m. for you guys. So, but how we darn. Welcome in. We're about to do a super flex rookie draft. A rookie draft here. I'm just going to get some background music right quick. All right. Should be good now. How's the music? Music too much? Is the music good? Is it just right? All right. How's it going? What's up? Oh, I can't see who that first comment is. Oh, Gator says can't get into your Discord. Not sure what happened. Really? It's the first link in the description. If you click on it, yeah, it should take you there. Should take you there. BMac says, this is when I start my second rookie draft in as many days. Have fun, everyone. Good luck. I'm getting in the mock. I love it. Flocky says, let's go. Hoping I can join. I got all the hope in the world for you. Freak Stomper, he is on his honeymoon. Badaki's on his honeymoon. He's coming back tonight, I think. So excited for him. What's up, back in 82? Joseph says, I'm doing a Dynasty Superflex tight end premium. And I would love to know your thoughts on who I should target at the 103 in my first year getting into Dynasty. And I'd love not to mess it up. So if that's a startup draft, I think I'm still going one of the quarterbacks. So probably Justin Herbert there, Patrick Mahomes. That's who I would be targeting if I was you. Unless you're talking about rookie drafts, and then I would say go Kenneth Walker or the best wide receiver available. All right, guys. If you don't know what we're doing a rookie-only draft, of course, and then we will do also a Superflex draft. After this one, we will do a startup draft. And I haven't released any content. I've done multiple live streams to make up for it, but I haven't released any content in the last couple of days. Just because the first day I was running on no sleep. The second day I was trying to update my individual rankings. And I also made that Superflex ranking sheet for everyone to help them out with their rookie drafts. And then I also implemented all of the rookies into my regular rankings, okay? So there will be more content coming soon. Don't worry, I got you guys. I'm just trying to keep up with the rankings. I felt like that was the most important thing for you guys to go kill it in your drafts. So if you are over there on Patreon and you have the Close Friends Plus tier and above, this guy right here, you will have access to all of our rankings. And obviously those will continually be updated throughout the offseason. But thanks everybody for coming to hang out. If you have yet to drop a like, show your boy some love.
You like that? You like that?
And drop a like for me. Drop a like for me. Let's see if we can... Wow, we already got 26 likes. Let's see if we can hit 30 off the dome. Back in 82, what's up? Catching up with the chat here, guys. Casey says, Pete and John are committed to getting back to the run and the quarterback and making the quarterback a game manager. Walker could easily end up as a future redraft 101. I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibilities. His upside is going to be a little limited with the passing work, but I will say he absolutely should be considered from the 102 and above in rookie drafts. Badaki is on his honeymoon. He's coming back tonight. What's up, John? What's up, Mitchell? What's up, TD? Alone again. Joseph says, thoughts on Jameson Williams as a long-term fantasy option? I actually love Jameson Williams. I've publicly said this multiple times that Jameson Williams, for me, I think he is the most talented wide receiver in this class. If we're going purely talent, then yeah, for me, he stands alone. But I make two sets of rankings each year. One is, which I'm just kind of starting to do because I think it makes a lot of sense. One is I evaluate players based off of talent, and the other, I consider their landing spot, their draft capital, the competition in their offense, the quarterback that they're connected to, And also, what I think is the most important thing is I consider their long-term value. So in 1 year from now, will this player be more or less valuable than where I need to draft them to get them? So I hope that makes sense, but that is obviously all updated over there on Patreon for you guys. Casey says these streams always land at 5 p.m. PST. Perfect time to shut down from work and take a break. I love that, Casey. I love that. What's going down? You probably watch Pat McAfee, don't you? TD says Badaki is milking his honeymoon. It's like Santa's elves taking off for the first 2 weeks of December. I know, right? Right in the NFL draft. No, he's having a good time, though. He said he's back tomorrow. Emiliano says, dude has been grinding, not going to lie. John says, can't wait to have you back, Badaki. Zach is getting boring. I love it. Yeah, we'll have to get a review on the honeymoon from him. But all right, guys, you know what we're here to do. We're here to do a rookie draft. Now, if you see in the bottom left here, I just put that up there because it's, as the stream grows, it will be harder for me to reply to every single question that you paste in the chat, okay? So if you have a question and you want to answer it straight away, then drop any super chat. But obviously there's no pressure. I just can't guarantee I will always answer every question as we grow. So we are doing a rookie draft, and I'm going to go ahead and copy this link. Now, again, if you're watching and you want to be a part of it, step 1 is to join our Discord, and that is the first link in the description of this video. But you can also join it with the link that I just pasted in the chat. But join our Discord, and then in our Discord, there is a text channel under Dynasty Dammit called Dynasty Mock Drafts. That is where I will send this link, and I am typing it out now. Here is the link for tonight's rookie mock. I can see people already typing here. And before I hit send, you know, please don't harass the stream. If you don't get in, please don't DM us. You know, I understand it can be frustrating, but also we're just having fun here. So I can't guarantee everyone's going to get in. So please don't get angry and make me feel bad. All right, here we go. There goes the link. Steven says, already did our rookie draft. Everyone got impatient. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's really a wrong time to do the rookie draft except for pre-draft. I know a lot of people do pre-draft rookie drafts. I just think that's too dangerous of a game, personally. You have to just wait and see. Because imagine all the people who did their rookie drafts before the real NFL draft, and they drafted Malik Willis at the 1-2 or the 101 or something. I mean, as much as we are getting better at scouting talents, we will never be able to predict draft capital. That's just not a thing. That's just not a thing, guys. So I would say that may this year be a learning lesson to anyone who did drafts before the NFL draft. Don't do that. Hector says, got my first Superflex draft on Saturday. Can't wait. Love the show. Welcome, brother. And I'm excited for you, man. What's up, Fantasy Condo? Steven says, dang, so close. We do have a Superflex draft right after this one, so hang around, guys, because maybe you'll get your shot there. But if you can show your boy some love on the stream, solo dolo.
You like that?
Do you like it?
You like that?
If you like the stream, drop a boy a like. That just helps us reach more people. That helps us grow the community. The algorithm. That helps us reach people. The magic algorithm. Anybody watch SpongeBob? The magic conch shell. Anyway, I'm an idiot. But we are doing a rookie draft. Superflex, not tight end premium. Take as much time as you want. I am excited to use my Superflex rankings. And this is going to be fun. So there goes Breece Hall at the 101. I will pause the mock at certain times just to discuss picks. Okay, so we see Breece at the 101 and Kenneth Walker at the 102. I am someone who truly believes that there are 6 players. I didn't even get into this mock. I'm an idiot. I keep forgetting, but there you go. I was like, wait, where am I drafting from? But I didn't even hit enter the draft. So for me, And I also didn't set a time limit. Someone help this guy. This guy has no idea what he's doing. Wait, I did set 60 seconds. Let's see if this is going to add a timer here. Okay. So for me, I think there's 6 players that could be considered here at the 1-2. Kenneth Walker is one of them. Treylon Burks is one of them, along with Drake London, who just went. Kenny Pickett is not crazy at the 102. It's not who I would go, but I don't think it's crazy. Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams. I mean, for the first wide receiver in this class, I genuinely have 5 number 1 wide receivers because I think they are that close. I think there is every one of them can be very valuable. I think Jameson Williams and Drake and Garrett Wilson will be the ones that are slow burners as far as the tier 1s. But I think Garrett Wilson has the safest upside of those two. I think Treylon, Olave, and London are going to step into a huge target share. For me, a lot of people ask me this question. Who would I draft as the first wide receiver? It would be Treylon Burks for myself because A.J. Brown is completely gone. And I have the option of Ryan Tannehill, who is not a great quarterback, but he's consistent for fantasy, or Marcus Mariota. Both of these guys are going to get insane target share, both first round draft capital. So and at the end of the day, I also think Treylon Burks is a better prospect. So for me, it would be Treylon Burks number 1 overall, but at the same time, I don't think Drake London is the wrong answer. I don't think it's a bad answer. I wouldn't be upset if you did Chris Olave. I know a lot of people don't agree with me. I wouldn't be upset if it was Garrett Wilson or Jameson Williams either. They're all in that same tier, that tier 1. To me, there's no Jamar Chase in the draft that I feel like you just have to take number 1 overall. Kenneth Walker at the 1-2. I'll just pause and talk about a couple picks. So Kenneth Walker at the 1-2. I am not worried about the Seattle landing spot. Actually, I love the Seattle landing spot. Rashad Penny is there for 1 more year. Chris Carson's neck has been pretty much the reason he can't continue his career. And this is an offense that is their entire identity is around the run game, and Pete wants to get back to that. You think Pete isn't upset that there's been conversations around the NFL that, man, if Pete would only let Russ cook. No, he wants to show people, I know what I'm doing. All right, I know. Like, remember when Russell Wilson came in and none of you guys knew him and I took us to a Super Bowl because of the run game? He wants to prove that. Kenneth Walker will have maybe 15 touches per game as a rookie, but in his second year, he'll probably get much more than that. So I like Kenneth Walker at the 1-2, anywhere from the 1-2 to the 1-5. Wilson, safest floor. Pickett, I mean, you could absolutely consider Pickett anywhere from the 1-3 onwards, in my opinion. I think 1-6 feels more comfortable for myself. But let's think about it. Najee Harris in the backfield. You've got Claypool and Pickens now on the outside, as well as Deontay Johnson. And you also got Pat Freiermuth. It's hard to find a better landing spot for Kenny Pickett than that. I mean, that is one hell of a landing spot for a quarterback. And I think he could probably start day 1. But it wouldn't surprise me if it was Mitch day 1. And it just took a while for them to realize he's not a good quarterback. Olave at the 1-7. I'll keep saying it. Michael Thomas and Olave, they are not competing against each other for targets. They are helping each other for efficiency, and the targets will still be there. They're both necessary to this offense, and I don't think that they hurt each other. Christian Watson at the 1-8. You know, personally, I'm going Sky Moore over Christian Watson. Would I rather have Aaron Rodgers for 3 years or Patrick Mahomes for maybe the entirety of my receiver's career? I also think that Sky Moore is a better prospect overall as a talent. So that's kind of where I land. But I'm not upset because I have them both in that same tier 2 of talent. So I'm not upset if you go Christian Watson or Sky Moore. But I do have Sky Moore ranked 1 spot ahead of him. But obviously Christian Watson is going to step into a ton of target share. I just think there's a lot that he needs to improve on. And we could see a really frustrated Aaron Rodgers mid-year if we don't see improvement from Christian Watson as a pass catcher specifically. So, but shout out to everybody watching. Appreciate all the likes. There goes Jameson Williams at the 1-9. I mean, that feels like robbery. I thought he was already off the board. For me, Jamison Williams should go ahead of Christian Watson. I don't know, man. Jamison Williams, for me, definitely should have gone ahead of Christian Watson. He is, in my opinion, the most talented player in the draft outside of Breece Hall. If we're going talent-wise, he's the second most talented player in the draft. All right, I'm going to catch up with the chat. Broden says, you made it serpentine. Do you mean... That is the funniest way I've ever heard someone say snake. You made it serpentine. That's hilarious. I love that. Steven says, I took Burks and JMO at the 103 and 104, then Olave at the 106. The rest of the league is going nuts that London kept falling. Hey, I mean, I like all those wide receivers that you took, Steven. Clyde says, you were too slow to get into the draft. We feel your pain. Yep, I'm feeling the pain too. TD says, a guy on TV said Burks is AJ Brown's starter kit. I mean, to be fair, when we were doing our comps, I did comp Burks to AJ Brown. Now, that doesn't mean that he is going to be AJ Brown, but I think the modern day NFL, I feel like it's really set up for a guy like AJ Brown to succeed. We've seen multiple players with his skill set succeed. So I think there's definitely a pathway. A lot of players crawled, so he could walk or run. Daniel says, hey, man, I'm looking at your updated rankings. It looks like you have Olave over Garrett Wilson. Can you explain your reasoning on that? I absolutely can explain my reasoning on that. So if you look at my rankings, however, you will see that all 5 of those wide receivers, there's a 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, or whatever it might be. If you're looking at the super flex rankings, you'll see that as well. That's because I truly believe they're all in the same tier. But for me, I am more confident in Chris Olave's target share and his involvement from day one than I am Garrett Wilson. Okay. And I feel like Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson are very similar players. I'm not saying that Garrett Wilson is going to struggle to get targets, but I trust the New Orleans offensive system more than I trust the New York system. I actually had Olave ranked as a higher prospect as well before the draft. So for me, I've liked Olave better as a prospect since day one. I liked his landing spot better. Jameis Winston versus Zach Wilson. I'm not saying Zach Wilson isn't a good quarterback, but I feel like there's more security in this first year for Olave. And 1 year from now, I don't think it's crazy if we're talking about Olave as a more valuable prospect than Garrett Wilson. I don't think that's wild to say. I know a lot of people would disagree, but for me, I like him better as a talent. I liked his landing spot better. I like the offense that he's in. I like that he's a part of a team that consistently knows how to win, that has a great defense, so they're going to stay on the field more. So I hope that helps. Clint says, I do not trust Burks. Wilson and Olave are the guys. I can respect your take. Joseph says, how do you not trust Burks? Titans also have a really great head coach to incorporate him. That's true. Timothy says, Rodgers is always frustrated. All right, let's pause and talk about this draft because, wow, Tyler Algier at the 111. I don't know if this pick was made just... I'm not sure if this pick was made as a troll pick. And I don't want to be rude, but I know Mike Davis was just dropped. But Algier is not a first-round talent. And I don't know, man. I mean, I currently have Algier ranked as my running back 8. I probably will move him to my running back 7 here in the next day. I'll probably move him to my running back 6, to be honest. Running back 6 or 7. But still, I'm not taking Tyler Algier over James Cook, Dameon Pierce, Rachaad White, because I don't think he's as talented as those players. And they took him in the 5th round. I mean, Atlanta could easily go running back again next year or sign a free agent in running back. And then, you spent a first-round pick on a guy who will have maybe touches in the first year. We don't even know if he's going to be the guy yet. And as a talent, I just think that's a huge reach. I think he would have been available at the 211. And there's no world where I'm passing up on Sky Moore, George Pickens, or even some of these quarterbacks for Algier. So to me, that's a huge reach. I know Mike Davis is gone, but I don't like the pick. Sky Moore, if I can get Sky Moore at the 112, I feel like an absolute king. George Pickens at the 2-1. You know, George Pickens is one of those players like Jameson Williams. I love both of these guys, but they are going to be slow burns as far as their value. They're stepping into situations where there's a lot of competition for targets, a lot of competition for opportunity, and their talent eventually will shine out, but they will not be the guys who from day one are in your starting lineup, like guys like London and Burks, so, and Olave and Wilson. Malik Willis at the 2-2. A lot of people are going to say that's too early. I'm relatively okay with that. I am actually kind of leaning, I'm just going to double check my rankings, but I'm actually leaning on a couple other players ahead of Malik at this point. For example, Alec Pierce, James Cook, and John Mechie. I think those guys will be more immediate values. And Malik, out of everyone, probably it takes him the longest to become a starting quarterback in the NFL. Ryan Tannehill is not a bad quarterback. I mean, they were first in the AFC last year. So I think Malik Willis is going... I mean, we could probably not even see Malik Willis this entire first year. That wouldn't surprise me. So to spend the 2-2 on him, I don't know if he's going to be more valuable than that next year. But I think James Cook will get a part of that rotation straight away. I think he makes a little bit more sense. I really love Alec Pierce's landing spot. A lot of people aren't talking about it. A lot of people say they don't like the landing spot. I do like Alec Pierce's landing spot. How is Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce hurting each other? Who's the other target in that offense that they need to worry about? Both Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman are necessary to this offense, and they got a huge upgrade in Matt Ryan, a quarterback, by the way, that has produced multiple top 12 quarterbacks, wide receivers, in his career. So I think Alec Pierce's landing spot was great. I also loved him as a prospect. And then John Mechie, I think, is really set up for success there in Houston. But again, I'm not upset if people go quarterbacks ahead of those players. Then we see Ritter here and Rachaad White. Ritter probably has the best chance. I would say Ritter and Corral have the best chance to start year one, except for Pickett. Rachaad White, I don't know what to think about him. I like the talent. He got pretty good draft capital, didn't he? Round 3. Trey McBride at the 2-6. I kind of have lowered Trey McBride in my Superflex rankings. I more view McBride as a middle of the 3rd round pick. Okay? Not as a talent, but think about the situation that he's stepping into. I know D-Hop was suspended, but Zach Ertz is already ahead of him. Hollywood Brown is there. AJ Green, Rondale Moore. So this is a tight end that I like as a talent. And I'm not saying you don't take him this high, but he feels more like a late 2nd, early 3rd type pick in my opinion. And I don't know that there is any tight end in this class that is going to make an impact like we saw last year. There's not a Kyle Pitts from day one or a Pat Fryermuth. I think a lot of these tight ends are going to be slow burn guys. So I think I want to try and, take a shot on someone else, like a Dameon Pierce or David Bell or Mechie in that situation, who I think could get work earlier. Love McBride as a talent, but I'm not so certain he's going to get a bunch of opportunity from day one. There goes David Bell at the 2-7. I did like his landing spot there in Cleveland. I still have Alec Pierce over David Bell personally, but I understand why people really like the landing spot. They're both in that same tier for me, that tier 3 of wide receivers with Alec Pierce, Mechie, and a couple other guys I won't say. I don't want to influence the draft, but I just like Alec Pierce better as a talent, and I think he's connected to a great quarterback. So I'm still going him over David Bell, but it's really close for me. Yeah, a lot of people are confused about the Algier pick. BMAC says Algier was drafted 108 in my draft yesterday, but to be fair, he didn't have any 2 to 3 round picks. He had to get his guy, but he wasn't interested in trading down. I tried. What in the world? Freak Stomper says he is RB1 in Atlanta. What is that worth, guys? What was Mike Davis worth last year? And he was drafted in the 5th round. Does that give him any security next year in the draft, in free agency? when all these other guys are becoming free agents? You're going to spend the 111 on a guy who maybe gets you 8 to 10 points a game and then could be replaced next year? I don't know. I don't think that's a good pick. Steven says, I will say, though, after Moore, you can kind of shoot your shot, but Algier went before Moore, so no. Yeah, I agree there's going to be a good workload for Algier, but I think it's way too early for him there. Trying to keep up with the chat. I believe James will be their guy after this year. James. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. James. The legend that is Mo Alley Cox. Damian Pierce at the 2-9. I actually think that's really good value at this point. I've come around on Damian Pierce. I really like his landing spot. Would I rather have Algier at the 111 or Damian Pierce at the 2-9? I mean, give me Damian Pierce all day. I definitely need to move Algier up my rankings from 8 after that Mike Davis news, because I haven't done so, but still, it doesn't make him a first round. He's not a first round talent. He didn't get first round draft capital. He's not on an explosive offense. I know the opportunity will be there, but that's just too high, man. Too high. By the way, are we all assuming that they're not going to sign? Like, what happens in the next week if they sign one of these free agent running backs? You know what I mean? And then you're like, damn, I spent a first round pick on Tyler Algier. What happens if they go out and, you know, they sign a David Johnson or a Philip Lindsay or a Sony Michel? Just some thoughts, just some food for thoughts. Steven says Algier went in the middle of the 3rd in my rookie draft. I think that's probably too late at this point, but that feels better. Jelani and Cox touchdown vacuums. That's right. That's right. Singletary's on his last year contract, and Moss has been disappointing. Yeah, I don't think Moss is a part of that, but Singletary was pretty good for them second half of the year. And again, you know, I don't think James Cook is going to come in and be the guy. I don't think he has the talent to be the guy either. I think he's definitely going to get in that rotation, but I think him and Singletary are probably going to get just as much of work as each other. There goes Matt Corral at the 210. Alec Pierce, I think that's such good value at the 211. I love that pick. Then Wandale Robinson. Hey. Okay. Hey, man. Fantasy Condo says, traded Matt Ryan in rookie drafts today for David Bell. Win or loss, 10-team Superflex, half PPR. That really depends on how long Matt Ryan plays for. I think it's pretty even value, but that's tough, man. That's tough. Timothy says, can't take a day 3 running back over 2 tight ends. Over a round 2 tight end. Agreed. To an extent, I agree there. Badaki says, Cook's second half of the year could take over, in my opinion. I know. As soon as he went to Buffalo, I knew that I would disagree with you. Freak Stomper says, so maybe Cooks bulks up to 210. I think he could still perform at that weight. Sure. But I don't think he's a workhorse running back. Jeremy says, Ertz is injury prone. I think he will be starting in no time. Ertz has been pretty reliable throughout his career. Matt Corral or Algier at the 210. I think I'm probably going Algier now, but it's relatively close. Let me double check my Superflex rankings. Yeah, actually, I am going Matt Corral at this point. I'm still going to take a chance on Corral. I mean, we're talking about a quarterback who could definitely start in year 1. Or Algier, who I think is talented again, but I don't think his draft capital really secures him at all.
Instead, he'll just make a donation.
Hey, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. I mean, I didn't even... Okay, so I see your question. I was like, I don't see any question with the super chat. Levon says, Matt Corral or Algier. I'm at the 210. I have Herbert, Allen, and Mayfield. Superflex 10 team. At this point, I don't think it's crazy to go Algier, but I'm not convinced that he's going to get this treatment next year as if he's the guy. What happens if Algier is okay? Because I think he's an okay running back. What happens if he's just okay and maybe he gets 8 to 10 points? Are they not going to draft one of the really good running backs next year? Because next year's class has probably 10 running backs more talented than Tyler Algier. So I think it's really, really close. But I think I am leaning Matt Corral personally. And I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not afraid to say I'm sticking with Matt Corral there. Do I want a shot at a running back who could start for a couple years, or a shot at a quarterback who could maybe become a starter? Because that's what I'm looking at with both of them. So in Superflex, I am going to lean Matt Corral there, but it's close. All right, Wan'Dale Robinson at the 212. Relatively good value. I'm not sure what to make of his landing spot. Zamir White. I don't know that I am going Zamir White there. I think that's a little too early for me. Yeah, it's a little too early for me. There are other players I'm taking over Zamir White, but I can definitely respect that. There goes Isaiah Spiller. I think it's a decent landing spot for him. Jalen Tolbert. In my eyes, Jalen Tolbert is an absolute steal there at the 3-3. I think he's absolutely competing with Michael Gallup for wide receiver 2 volume towards the end of his first year. And I'm not worried about Michael Gallup's contract. It's very team friendly. Brian Robinson at the 3-4 is pretty good value considering how high he was drafted. Shakira at the 3-5, then Tyquan. Davis Price. It's a little bit early for Okonkwo, in my opinion. There's not really a tight end outside of McBride that I want to draft. I mean, Jelani Woods is probably the better pick there, but Okonkwo is so low in my rankings. He is my 62. He is my 62nd ranked rookie in a Superflex ranking system. So I would see that as a pretty big reach, but if you got to get your guy, for sure. Sam Howell at the 3-9, into the third round. If you are going to draft Sam Howell, have very low expectations of him, all right? Because he's not even the quarterback 2 entering camp. That's still Taylor Heineke. So have very, very low expectations for Sam Howell. If you want to just take a shot on a guy, I'm not upset about it, but I think there maybe is better options still on the board, including the guy who just went in Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs, I think, is a better pass catcher than Christian Watson is already, and Green Bay has a history of developing those late round wide receivers. So I think Doubs has more of these skill sets that Aaron Rodgers trusts. I'm not saying that he's going to be better than Christian Watson or that he'll get more target share than Christian Watson, but he's very intriguing for me in the third round. Romeo Doubs is. I love that landing spot. Fourth round draft capital isn't too bad either there for him. Davis Price is interesting. Third round draft capital for a guy when they really didn't need running back. I liked Tyrion Davis Price. I remember telling you guys about him about 2 weeks before the draft. All right, Bo Melton. All right, that's too early. That's too early. This is a 7th round pick, guys. That is a 7th round pick who is in an offense where he's maybe the wide receiver 5 on that team. Maybe the wide receiver 5, maybe practice squad guy. So that's too high for Bo Melton, guys, in my opinion. There goes Dulcich off the board. He's very intriguing. I'm not even so sure that he won't be more relevant than Albert O this year. We'll see. But I don't think either of them are going to be very relevant, just to clarify. Eric Izukama, 3rd round pick. I was so surprised at how high he was drafted. Goes to the Dolphins. Definitely deep into that depth chart, but maybe this is their Devontae Parker replacement in their eyes as far as size goes in their team. So I think he absolutely deserves draft capital over Bo Melton. There goes Jelani Woods. Jelani Woods is the 2nd tight end I would personally take off the board. Skill set, draft capital, opportunity. There's not really, yes, Mo Alley Cox is there, but there's not really a future tight end that worries me. But again, I would rather take a shot on some of these other talents than tight ends until the 4th round. So, you know, 4th round Jelani Woods feels like pretty damn good value there, in my opinion. Anoop says, I'm a Gibson owner. Help me. I feel like I have no choice but to draft Brian Robinson in the 2nd round. You have a choice. It depends on who's on the board, but I'm not against drafting Brian Robinson. Maybe you should be looking at trading down, at least until the 212 to take Brian Robinson. But I think Brian Robinson's going to be involved. Like from what I've heard from Ron Rivera, they really, really like him. Timothy says day 3 picks play on special teams. Yeah, I just don't understand some of these picks. I know you guys like them as talents, but it's too late. Daniel says, do you think Dameon Pierce is the starting running back in Houston? I think he absolutely has a pathway to that. I was looking at their depth chart the other night. All he has to do is get past Marlon Mack. And no disrespect to Marlon Mack. I know Rex Burkhead is there, but he's not really your starter, all right? He's kind of that 3rd down running back. No disrespect to Marlon Mack, but I don't know that it's going to be all that difficult to get past him. At this point of his career, after that injury, he's not really been that same player. Hey Man says, did you see Justin Ross got picked up by the Chiefs? I did. I did see he signed as an undrafted free agent, and I'm absolutely going to be moving him up my rankings now that he's at least going to be somewhere for camp. Right now, he is my 57th ranked player in a Superflex rookie draft. He obviously will move up, but I think, yeah, he definitely should be considered in some later 4th, 5th rounds of rookie drafts. It's a really great landing spot for him, isn't it? All right, so I'm just going to pause the draft and talk about some of these picks. Hey, okay, Dawson. Okay. Hey, brother, thanks so much for the sub. I appreciate you. All right, so Jerome Ford at the 4-3. Love him as a talent. I do think that purely because of draft capital, we have to consider some other running backs ahead of him. Pierre Strong at the 4-4. What the hell are the Patriots doing with their running backs? They had the weirdest NFL draft. I'm so confused. Tyler Beatty at the 4-5. I really like Tyler Beatty's landing spot. I think it makes a lot of sense for him. And I think there's not a ton of competition that worries me for him to at least be that RB2-3, right? He's not going to be J.K. Dobbins. He's not even going to get a good workload as a rookie. But I'm saying as a 4th round pick, the talent, the injury history on that team, it's definitely intriguing to me. Kyron Williams lands in Los Angeles with the Rams. Interesting. I don't know what that's going to be. Keontae Ingram. I love this pick, the Keontae Ingram pick. Not a lot of competition behind James Conner. There are some Eno Benjamin truthers out there. I am not one of those truthers. But Keontae Ingram has everything he needs to be a 1st and 2nd down running back. He's never going to be a superstar, but I think he could be very relevant if he gets a starting job. You know, I mean, Keontae Ingram can do what James Conner did last year on the goal line, which is just run it in for like 1 or 2 yard touchdowns, you know. Keontae Ingram is an underrated talent for sure, and I like his landing spot. Hassan Haskins, I'm not a big Haskins guy, but I think the 4th round draft capital, absolutely he should be drafted in rookie drafts. So we'll see. I mean, you know, if we keep seeing injury issues with Derrick Henry, then this is not a bad landing spot at all. Shout out to everybody watching. If you have yet to drop a like, show your boys some love and drop a like for me. Let's see if we can hit 55 likes together. Jeremy says, watch for Darius Geis. He could sign to a team like Atlanta, maybe. Man, Geis, what an interesting name to bring up. Hey, so talented, but just what happened? JT says, Bill's going to have a lot of high-scoring games when they'll want the pass-catching running back in the game. That's true, but you could also argue that Devin Singletary is a pass-catching running back. But I definitely think James Cook is valuable. I just don't think he's going to get like this 65% workload that everyone else is projecting. Watson, Williams, or Cook at the 110. I would go Jameson Williams. Sorry, trying to keep up with the chat here. BMax says, I'm currently drafting and watching this stream. I love it. Kyle
He
Phillips.
wants to jump
Okay.
in. Instead, he'll just
Jerry.
make a donation.
Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Really appreciate you. He says 1-2 London. Okay, so the 1-2 for Waddle. Yes. In a heartbeat, I am taking Jalen Waddle over Drake London. So if that is the trade straight up, and you can get Jalen Waddle for the 102, that feels like pretty great value. So I would take Waddle in a heartbeat. I think Waddle is a better talent than anyone else in this draft. You could disagree with me, guys, but that's how I feel. That's how I view him. So yes, I would take Waddle over London. I think you did win. London might see more volume, but I also think that Waddle is the better long term. But thank you so much for the super chat, bro. I appreciate that. All right, there goes Danny Gray, which again, you know, when a player that we don't know a lot about gets third round draft capital, we need to at least consider him in rookie drafts. You know, with the question marks around Deebo Samuel, Danny Gray is a really good pick here in the 4th round. We don't know what's going to happen with him. We don't know what's going to happen with Deebo. Deebo seems very, very sold on not coming back to San Francisco. But, I mean, Danny Gray definitely should have been drafted over some of the other players, I think. There goes Corbin. I don't really know too much about Corbin.
He wants to jump in. Instead,
and then Justin Ross at the 412. Hey, thank you so much for the super chat. Stephen Day says, what do you think of Velus in Chicago? Did Velus get drafted? Wow, did Velus not get drafted? Did no one draft Velus Jones? Really, guys? I mean, yeah, I am very intrigued by Velus Jones. I actually have him ranked as my 32nd player in a rookie superflex format. So that would make him a 3rd or 4th round pick, Velus Jones. And I definitely think he should. I mean, again, another player that was drafted in the 3rd round. Why did the Bears draft him over some of the other wide receivers that we really liked who were available? We don't know the answer, but we assume that there is a plan for Velus Jones. And we assume that he's going to get opportunity because there's not a lot of receivers to compete with there for target share. So I definitely think he should have been drafted. I'm considering him anywhere from the late 3rd to the 4th. Velus, you know, I know he's 25 years old already, but still, the draft capital is... This is a guy who I thought was going to be drafted in the 7th round. I'll be 100% honest with you. I thought Velus Jones was a 7th round pick. And for him to go that early, Chicago wants to do something with him. So I definitely think he's worth capital. But thanks so much for the super chat, Steven. I appreciate that. Daniel says, I would be crazy to take Sky Moore. Would I be crazy to take Sky Moore over Jameson at the 108? I don't think you would be crazy, but I am going to go Jameson Williams over Sky Moore there. But, you know, year 1, I don't think it's crazy that Sky Moore could be a higher scorer. But I think the longevity of their careers, I do think Jameson Williams will eventually get to that point where, yeah, he definitely is more valuable than Sky Moore long term. Dawson says, so scared of taking 3rd round wide receivers after how bad they were this year. That's true, Dawson, but to be fair, historically we've seen a lot of good 3rd round wide receivers, right? Think about it. I mean, Terry McLaurin, I think AJ Brown was close to being a 3rd round. Same with DK, they were close in that kind of range. So we've seen historically a lot of good 3rd round wide receivers. Corbin will be the running back 2 in New York behind Barkley. Dylan says it was between Jones and Ross for me. I can respect that. Yeah, Jasmine, I did talk about the Algier pick. I don't agree with it, but a lot of people were defending it in the chat. So, yeah, there you go. I don't think he's 1st round draft pick, though. Steven says, I felt like I was taking crazy pills. I love it. Clint says, I like Pierce at that pick. I agree. I love Alec Pierce at the 211. A guy who gets 2nd round draft capital, 53rd overall pick, and steps into a situation where there's more than enough targets to go around. Kyle said, I thought Velus would go like 5th round, but same difference for sure. Gallup was a 3rd round pick. Yep, that's true. Michael Gallup was a 3rd round pick. Actually, I think he was a 2nd round pick, wasn't he? Wasn't he a 2nd rounder? I don't remember. But I mean, yeah, there's been quite a few good wide receivers in the 3rd round drafted for sure. Doesn't always happen. Doesn't always work out. Okay, guys. So I think everyone did really well. I have a Dynasty Startup Superflex draft, a startup mock draft that we are about to do. So if you would like to join us for that startup draft, then I will paste the link in the chat because that is the next thing that we are about to do. I'm going to end this live stream and then do that. Tyler Lockett was a 3rd. Gallup was a 3rd. I thought he was a 2nd. My bad. Okay, so I just pasted the link in the chat to our next live stream. You can see it here. So this is the live stream that I'm about to start, guys. We're doing a Superflex startup draft. So if you would like to join us, then go ahead and click on that link that I just pasted in the chat, because I will be going offline here for a couple minutes and then I will be starting this stream. So Deontay Johnson was a 3rd round pick. Yep, very good pick, very good point. JT says, thanks for grinding for these. Of course, bro. Danny Gray. Yeah, he'll be very interesting. Danny Gray will. All right, guys, I'll see you over on that other stream. The link is in the chat. I'll also paste it in our Discord. I will be live here soon, so I'll see you over there. Peace.